Hey, what's up? I'm back. Making game in Unreal. I got a giant mug of hot chocolate with whipped cream, caramel, and some Oreos. Not much, mind you, but just enough to sit here and be okay being a human in these interesting times. If only for a few moments. Yeah. So what are we doing today? Well, I'm just going to bug fix. I haven't had much time to do anything. I mean, for good reasons, right? Wednesdays, I'm talking to folks about maybe another thing that maybe will turn into a thing. Yesterday's tabletop role playing games. In person, mind you. Still feels fresh to do in person things because I'm so used to Foundry doing it digitally. Even today, I was so busy I haven't taken a shower yet. I was on the treadmill. I was working on another thing that might become a thing. I'm not done with that thing yet, but I will be pretty soon. But I'm not going to send it till Monday. So I could sit here and stress out about it and double guess myself about every aspect of it. You know how it goes. So this is the first time since Wednesday I've looked at stuff, even though I spent a little bit of time after the stream on Wednesday continuing to look at stuff. For those who might be watching this with no clue what I'm doing or what this project is, I'm making a shooter in Unreal, and it does some things to help control scope. Let me get rid of this for a second. Make sure it's only just me and not multiplayer yet. So we got these little pixely guys, and see they have different facings, and I have a system calculating their different facings. Yeah, it's the 8 directions, kind of like Doom. We got a gun. Yeah, those bullets are big. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I forgot about that. So we got these little guys here. They're not even firing the right projectile anymore. Oh, he's trying to hit me with melee. That's funny. He's a little bit above me, so he can't do it. It's another thing to fix. Let me put that real quick in the mirror board. He can sit there and hit me during that. Just more bugs. As much as I have a strong desire to continue forward with the fun design elements for this project, I gotta clean this stuff up. I don't want to build on a shaky foundation. Leaving bugs there, that's a shaky foundation. Alright, you stop that. Then I got these eyeball guys, they're my ranged guys. These are supposed to be small red things. Did that push him out of the way? Bam. 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 We got some other gameplay. We got interactive elements like this generator. Now this is powered. That turns on that light. Shut off the generator. Light goes off, right? Door locked. I mean, I know this seems super simple. Door unlocked. Turns blue. Damage. Ow. Heal. Ah, minty fresh. You couldn't see any of that because I was not looking at the stream. Fantastic. That's how it goes when I get too ahead of myself. A lot of these things I want to set up as smart objects. And if I could have a thing where certain enemies prefer light to dark, they could turn lights on and off. Or maybe they get power from electrical stuff. Maybe it powers smart objects. I want to make the healing and damage stuff into smart objects. I want to do some level design. I want to come up with more enemies. I want to come up with more weapons and more abilities. We're using the gameplay ability system, which we have a tutorial that I have not completely finished yet, but we got maybe as much as we need out of it. I gotta fix these bullets. So, like here, this dash, this is an ability. This is an ability. AoE. But so shooting, that's an ability. So switching a weapon. Oh, my poor broken rifle. But that's the stuff we're dealing with. That's where we're at. It's pretty cool. I've been making the art for this in a little program called Piskel, where I'm trying to just keep it 32 by 32, so that there's a similar look to all the enemies. The story's going to be like, oh, old abandoned video game company offices with consoles and arcade games, and the enemies, for some reason, come alive, blurb, and they come out of the screen and stuff. Be good times. We're not there yet. We're doing foundational work. Gameplay ability system, behavior trees, smart objects, replication. Even though it's technically a single player game, a lot of this is just for me to learn. In case you didn't know, I'm a game dev, professionally, for over 2 decades. That's a me. I'm looking for work. I have not yet associated this stream with that stuff, my job hunt, because I'm very casual talking here, and I often have stream brain, where I'm trying to talk and maybe keep things entertaining in case anyone ever watches these, and it gets in the way of do thing. So I don't want employers to get the wrong idea. This is not a professional stream. This is an unprofessional stream. And who knows, if I actually make this game, I won't need a job. So today's goal is more bug fixes. No, really, that's it. If I off-ramp into some random subject, fine. Then we will off-ramp. I fixed some stuff. Some stuff was fixed after the stream. I fixed bullets flying in crazy directions near interactive objects. 2 ways. I fixed it in 2 ways. Because I went into the weapon base. Where is it? No, I went into the projectile base. Where is it? I went into the shoot pistol ability. And this thing was messing it up. Don't need that comment. We fixed it. Oh my goodness. So this weight target data doesn't say so, but this actually makes a line trace. Yum, 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 yum. Sorry, I was drinking my wonderful, delicious hot chocolate drink. Blah, 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 homemade, yes. And so you get some info here. The player is the start actor. Actually, whoever's shooting the pistol, but I really had to set it up mainly for the player. Line trace says, oh, what did I hit? Get the target data endpoint. Now, this is the new fix. Because it was this aiming at the center of the interact volume on interactive objects. So I had to go in, I'll open one up. Quickest way to do it is just to go like this. Hey, generator. And I had to reorder this stuff. That was one of the things. And then I had to make sure the collision on this box is ignore everything except for pawns and camera. And it worked. Before that, I did this. where I said, why am I doing a trace to get the thing? Shoot the projectile out, let's not care about the trace. Which, I don't know which approach is better. It's probably more performant to use the line trace for some reason, because it already has a node that does almost everything. My assumption is less nodes equals more performance. But I did all this crazy stuff to just ignore all of that and get a forward vector based on how you're aiming. Cleaner. This is simpler. Nothing else had to change. Got the target location. It feeds into this already working stuff to spawn the projectile in that direction, going at the speed. This is class of projectile. Get avatar from avatar info, so don't do the thing that doesn't work in multiplayer. Or you can player index 0. Do this. That means who's the person shooting? Cast to them. They're the instigator. Done. Works. Then I'm like, let's continue down this awesome route of fixing things. So, on the server, the projectile was correct. On the client, it was applying the scale of the projectile 2 times. Maybe. So I set the scale of the projectile and every part of it to just be 1, so there's no scaling on any part of it. Now it's this huge cube on the the server, but for the client, it's 1/10 the size. Why? Well, that's one of the things we're going to investigate right now. Why do I have 2 cube ones? I don't know. I could make a new one and just call it projectile bullet. But I'd rather either use the cube, because if I use a volume, I think there's still going to be a problem with that. Like if the cube isn't scaling right, a volume's not going to scale right either. Or I'll make a sprite. Sorry, I just got a soft Oreo lodged in my throat for a second. As one does. Don't need you guys right now. Don't think I need the weapon base right now either. I technically don't need these things either, but whatever. So that's the big mystery. This thing. Let's get back up to my stuff. My content, weapons, projectiles. Oh, these are probably scaled. All right, if that's the projectile base. Well, the scale's wrong here. Yep. There you go. Question becomes, why is this on the client correct and not on the server? Question 2. What happened to this thing? It's supposed to be red. Why so tiny? Are there 2 cubes? No, one was the sphere collision. Why do I have 2 cubes? What is this doing here? What am I even doing here? No, you don't need that. You just need the projectile mesh. Why do you have another cube? You're trying to make me crazy? Projectile mesh. This was supposed to be emissive red. Now I could scale it right after I spawn it. Might not be a bad idea. But it always just means that, like, maybe for a frame it'll be the wrong size and everyone's going to go, what? I don't know why this changed from red. It was the right size and it was red. Here's what we're going to do. The sphere collision. That's the actual collision size. We want to make this thing fit inside there. We don't have any scaling on the projectile base anywhere. No scale, no scale, no scale. Which means any scaling we do here should apply and only apply one time. So we're just going to zoop it down. Maybe give the player a little bit of affordance in avoiding it by making it the edges. Why is it sphere collision? I don't know. That becomes a problem. I'll fix it. And then here's the players. Do I want these always to be emissive? Sure. For now, at least, I guess. Alright, what happens in the game now? It's slightly smaller. I think I have to make it even smaller. But it also glows. Enemy shots seem to be the right size. Fire at me. Man, did the dynamic map thing change again? Because he looks like he's running into things and having problems moving around. Alright. Alright, I'm getting an error about the locomotion thing. I know. Boy, it's going to be the... I say the hardest thing. As soon as I learn out how to do it, the 3D animation fixes. Maybe they'll be easy. When I'm trying to drink Oreos, they have fallen to the bottom of the mug and are now the last remnant of this hot cocoa. Gravity. Why do you make that take so long? Alright. Do the sizes work with 2 players? So to test this, I'll pop up the other window. To test this, I'll pop up the other correct window where I switch to a different window, and then back to this window. And it'll work, and then I need to bring it back up over here. Aha! Hey, look, those are correct. Performance in multiplayer is really bad. So one of the things I'm going to look at soon, I'm going to fix these bugs, and then I'm going to say, hey, performance. And I'm going to analyze the performance of everything. In this stream? No. Nope. Got to fix all these bugs first. That's going to take a while, since I am the only person on the game. Oh, weird. It took a second, then it's running better now. Nope, when I shoot, it just poops itself. Maybe these shouldn't be emissive. Can I hit guys? That all works. But he doesn't see them switch to the death animation. Isn't that odd? Urban Derber. Yeah, I see you waving there, buddy. Get out of here for now. What happens if they just run around? Which I'm using as an excuse to finish off this Oreo. Just stand here. Impatience has got me. Now I have Oreo on my finger, but it will come out of the empty mug faster. My headphones just came off. Oh no. Sometimes it would be cool if this was actually a camera stream where it's just me, so you could see my hilarious, stupid situations I get myself into. Only in real life instead of in the game. I just look at my stream time. It's already 21 minutes. What the heck, me? Get it in gear. All right. Let me recombobulate. Okay. Wait. I got to reposition myself to kind of where I normally am. Go down a little bit here. That's fine. Close enough. Commit to the bit, right? Shake the things around in OBS and. Anyways, now that I'm full of sugar, let's go. They're shooting red bullets. Bullets are the right size. That all works. We're going to go into Miro. And we're going to celebrate this minor victory. Oop. Projectile look. Enemy damage look do not work correctly in multiplayer. Well, guess what? Fixed. Yay. All right, that's enough celebration. What's next? As I say, as I just minimize Miro. What are next? Okay. Got a few things going on. We're not going to mess with the player model. We're not going to mess with the 3D animation. Not today. So no heads in multiplayer, and just the general note, and this is under the debt section. We're going to ignore those. Second player sees enemies stuck in damage sometimes and doesn't see death state. Death state? No, death state. Let's deal with this. Let's deal with that now. My body tries to deal with the thing I just drank. It's adventure all around. Oh, I got chocolate. Right here on these things I have to see through. It's always little things. Oh, come on. Wait, no, I gotta clean this because it's right in my face. I need, like, goofy hold please animations or something on the screen. For them just kind of being a doof and things happen. Alright, there we go. Everything's fine now. Everything's 100% fine. So, why, when an enemy dies, does the player player 2 not see it? So when an enemy dies, go over here, handle death. Visibility. So I shut off everything that's supposed to be visible while it's dying. Set the current thing. So this isn't replicating. Replicated. We'll just see what happens if I turn on replication. Then we'll figure out what options we might need in order to make it work. Zero expectations that this is going to work out of the gate. Oh, high window thing is driving me nuts. Go, headless man. Alright, that didn't work. Like I said, zero chance of that working. So this might have to be a thing where... Well, there's a lot of different approaches. I don't know which one's the correct approach. I'm learning. So you're replicated. So does it mean that I'm replicating it, but that doesn't matter because the client can't push that up to the server? But this isn't the client. This is a pawn controlled by the server, and it's dying. Death works, it's just not showing it. So why does showing the damage state work and not this? Let's see if we can copy from myself. I know, I shouldn't do anything on tick. Are you a variable FB current? I didn't need to set these other things. Why did I need to set FB current as replicated? It's just a component. I can set components to be replicated. Can I just set dying to be replicated? Did I miss it? Oh, for crying out loud. Component replicates, which is different than setting a variable to replicate. One thing you have to watch out with all these tests is I'm going to try this, and if it works, I'm going to shut off the other thing. You don't want too much stuff replicating. That's traffic, network traffic. You got too much of that stuff, it's going to make your network stuff not performant. You don't want that. You want to perform. All right. All right. All right. All right. Oh. All right. So it's not hiding the other state. Why is that? All right, the little flashes when it changes. I think that's just because it's loading that art. Loading assets and stuff in Unreal. There's a little weird thing. Just because you're loading a mission and it has these things in it doesn't mean it loads every part of them. Yeah, okay. So it's not shutting off the other components. Visibility. The other thing we have to check is that variable that we just set. this here. If I set that to none, is it still going to work? You can't see this right now, but I'm doing this for speed. Oh, look at that. They just turned red. They didn't even get hit. I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to go over here and open it. Every time that happens, I got to make it choose a different window and then back again. Oh, they hit each other. Now they're fighting. What? The bullets are still too big. Blueprint runtime error. Access none. Trying to read real property. Call function get Blackboard value of actor. And then perform condition check AI for is within ideal range. Wait, hold on. Let's do the number one thing to fix those kind of errors. Is it valid? If it's not valid, don't do it. I never saw that before, but I think it's because it was targeting an enemy because it got damaged by an enemy. They were fighting, and then I destroyed one of the enemies, and suddenly the target value tried to change, but that enemy went away during that. So we'll see if this fixes it or not. And if it doesn't, we'll have to look into it later. One thing at a time. So if I make this replicate, should I make everything under it replicate? Is this going to super tank performance in networking? Or is it not bad? Because current is just a variable. It's not a thing here. Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah, okay, so it's not getting rid of, it's not changing the visibility of those other components. So when I go in here, and I'm saying new visibility, shut all these off so you only see the damaged one, it says no. All right, well, I'm going to try this real quick. I hope this isn't horrible. Dying, you show up now. So it's basically what information I want the server to send. So it sends all the stats for all of these components. And we also have to set the visibility. I don't think we can be selective about what data it sends specifically inside these. And the other window was up the whole time. Whatever. I'm just turning on component replicates. Now we're going to play. Now we're going to turn this back on. Now we're going to change which window this is. Even though it's set to the correct window, it's displaying the wrong one. And then we're going to start again. Hey, why'd you turn red? Why did you guys turn red? Why are you turning red? No, that's also not the solution, but that makes me kind of happy that that's not the solution. All right, we know that when I replicate one of these, they show up when there's a change. The two that change, these never change. These are always here. We're just changing their visibility, and that works, because as you walk around them in multiplayer, you can still see them, quote-unquote, rendering from the different directions. But this is something that we say do, and then shut it off, and this is something we say do, and these are both messing up. So there's something going wrong with those. So we turn off visibility for everything else, and then this isn't working. It works on the server, not on the client, which means it's not a problem of how I have this set up at a base level. It's a problem with how I have all this set up for the server to communicate it to everybody else. If I go in, wait, testing time. What does the server see while I do this over here? It looks correct on the server. The logic that's driving the functionality is correct. What is incorrect is how we're passing the values in multiplayer. So, you can see it happening. What's not getting passed is the visibility. This right here, even if we turn on replication for all of these different things, it's ignoring this. It's leaving that on. All right. Then here's the damage effect, which has the same problem. So we set the material in FB current. Where are you being set? All right, okay, so set it to front just initially. But really, it's over here. This is the thing that is saying, hey, what angle are we being seen at? And so switch which one of these are visible and not visible and set that one to current. So this is the system that I set up. This is the old system. It was getting out of hand. This one was using degrees, which meant that as soon as you got to 180, you had to split that up because Unreal had no idea what to do with it. This does all of that logic in here. Look at all this math. I had to look up all this math. Proud it works. Because even with all the stuff I found on it, it didn't really work. Anyways, this stuff, this isn't replicated, and this stuff all works. Okay? If we play the game, hold on. If we play the game, see, I'm seeing that guy from the side, and then he turned that way, and I'm seeing kind of like from the back left. Right? You see that over here? And they turn. All that works in multiplayer. Oh, they're all attacking the main player. Oh no. I mean, that damage works most of the time. It's just the dying. It's not hidden when they die. But they are hidden here. Am I not setting... that's interesting. Am I not setting current to dying? Yeah, I am. I don't know what these options mean. I'm going to go onto the internet real quick and say Unreal 5.7 location conditions, and hopefully it's the list. Just give me the list. It's all code. I don't care about that. Conditional replication. Once you register a property for replication, you can't unregister it. Properties you set for replication are replicated for the lifetime of the object. The replication system embeds as much information as possible so the system can share work across connections for the same set of properties, thereby saving computation time. To perform finer control over how a property replicates, you can use replication conditions. By default, every replicated property only replicates on the condition that it has changed. Properties that have not changed do not replicate. Therefore, they do not use valuable bandwidth. Smart. So they're talking about how to... Okay, here we go. Here we go. Wait a minute. I'm switching this from Miro to this here. All right, so what do we got here? Oh, no, I ruined it all. Okay. None. No conditioner replicates any time it changes. That, I shouldn't... I'm here, so I'm going to read over the list, but whatever. On the initial bunch, replicates on only the actor's owner, replicates on every connection except the actor's owner, replicates a simulator, autonomous actors, replicates a simulator by physics, replicates on the initial bunch or to the actor's owner. No particular condition, but has the ability to toggle on or off. Huh. Replays, we don't have replays set up. All right, that's fine. No, don't go back to Foundry. Can we talk apps and stuff being made dumber to use? The thing that popped up right there when I was zooming in, and it probably doesn't show up for you guys here, but it has a little pop-up at the top of the browser, and it says, hey, here's your current zoom settings, and do you want to reset? On the way to move my mouse to it, it lasted not long enough to actually get to the button I wanted to hit. It faded right before I got there. When I clicked, it clicked on Foundry, which is bookmarked on my bookmarks bar. Why did it show up over another active UI element? Why? Don't do that. Find a neutral space for that stuff to go. Set that back to Miro. So this would just replicate whenever that's changed, right? FB current. I know we just tried this. I know we did, and it didn't work. But I don't know why. I don't know why it's not setting visibility. Wait a minute. Everything works on these guys. Replicating that. Should these be always relevant? I'm just gonna check that real quick. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Oh, this pie window thing is driving me nuts. Just do the thing and leave it. All right, anyways. No, okay, I'm still visible. So that wasn't it. That's fine. They're relevant enough. Yes, replicates. Replay we're not using. The mesh doesn't have to do that. It's the rotator. All right, it doesn't look like there's any options here that impact what we're trying to do. Is there anything else if I just scroll down to there? I'm not touching that stuff. It came on by itself. So the actual enemy base, like the actual this here, that's replicated. And then these things just work without replication. This won't work without replication. This won't even show up if I'm not replicating it, right? And it replicates. So but okay, so it shows up and it happens on the client. But the shutting it off isn't showing up on the client. So does that mean that setting visibility has to be done on the server? Oh, internet UE 5.7 does component and visibility replication. This whatever. When someone said 11 years ago, when changing the visibility of a component on a character, the changes don't show up on other clients. There's no category for replication on the component itself, but I've set up the graph to ensure it replicates. Hey again, I use an event that I run only on the server to call from the client. Is this just a thing that still exists? When a variable is rep notify and is changed on the server, the function is called first on the server, then all clients. You can also use a multicast event. Right. So this has to be done on the server. I don't know what all I can do inside a macro for this, but we'll find out. Has authority. Do you have authority? Do it. I just want to see what that does on its own. In single player. Did I mess anything up in single player? No, because I am the authority. I am the law. But then on clients, that's not going to matter. This isn't a fix. This is me experimenting. Yeah. It didn't break anything, but it just meant it was trying to run stuff on the server, but it shouldn't have. So I can't change the visibility. The client can't do that. The server's got to do it. So Now I'm going to show my lack of knowledge in this area. This works here with this when I made it replicate. Ah, it was so clean when it was a macro. Now I'm probably going to have events and stuff. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can have separate events in a macro. Can I? No, I cannot have separate events. Mm. So I'm going to have an event that gets replicated to do all this stuff if it's not on the server. And it's before this. It's not even this because it should be here. And it needs to be set from the server. And I do this at other places. And it makes me feel bad every time. Where is it? That's why I'm so happy the gameplay ability system is replicated. It handles all this stuff. Not everything, but it handles all this stuff internally. I just need to find some script where I have the authority. And I really thought I was doing things here. Here we go. Switch has authority. Oh, that's custom. No, it's not. Target reliable replicated to server. So really, if we just say server, well, we're not sending a gameplay event. That's a tag. That's for the gameplay ability system. Although I just suddenly imagined a world where would make death into an ability. It's not, is it? It is. I already have death as an ability. And it applies the dead state. Enemies have it already. In my... Where's my handle death? Get off there. I think that's what's calling for objectives. I'm not actually doing the ability. So the first person character, this is just for the combo. How do I handle death here? When the player dies, what do we do? This. Is this a custom event? Yeah, so I made a custom event called Handle Death Server. Where are you getting called from? Where am I applying that? GA death. All right. So I kind of have to do this same stuff on the enemy. Hold on, my phone did a bleep loop, which means I immediately have to drop everything. Take my psychologically trained brain over to my phone and clean up my email. Ring the bell, get the food. All right. So whenever the health is changed, first we go over here and say old value, new value, try activate abilities by tag. Tag container is hit reaction small. Be useful in the future when I'm doing hit react stuff. Then after that, say, hey, is that health equal to or less than 0? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry for another screen up there. Yes, it is less than or equal to 0. Okay. In the ability system, activate GA death and allow remote activation. Here, for some reason, is that the right ability system? Yeah. For some reason, I did this differently between the two things, because maybe I thought enemies would be simpler and I wasn't setting it up for multiplayer. So that's when it gets the tag. And then we do wait gameplay tag, add to actor, state.dead. We do that here across the main implementation-y thing. So let's wait for a tribute change there, and now we're waiting to see, hey, am I dead? So this will say, hey, yo dead. And this says, hey, when you're dead, that should be redundant. I'm not going to worry about that unless it becomes a problem. Do this, it runs on the server. Wait a minute. Am I an idiot? I mean, kind of. I already know the answer. That sometimes, absolutely. That's a function. Why can't I run that on the server? How did I make this function? It's a custom event. Handle death on server. Is this just because this is based on... Well, I reparented just a character. Ah, man. So I just have to make this thing here replicate reliably. Right? That's all I need. As a function, and make it replicate. Which is not an option. It's literally simply not an option. So how did I do it before? All right. There's some trick to it. Can't be straightforward. This says custom event. It's not one of my custom events. So where do these come from? As you can see here, this is the list of, oh, just an event? These are the events that I have implemented. And these have replicates. These all have replicates. Everything that's being, aside from the basic ones. Okay, not all of them do. Get off here. So I have to look at events, not functions. Is it because I collapsed it to a function? Maybe. So if I do it like this, create comment from selection, I can't make this into a function anymore. Why not? Why? Why? Just because I turned on replication, I can't. Oh no, collapse the function. It's still there. Undo that. You can just stay as an event for now. You're doing weird Unreal things. Death handling replication. So what we need to say is, here's how it's handled over here. When this is added, handle death. That just goes over here. Does that work now that it's a multicast event? Let's test. That's all we can do. Multiplayer scripting in Unreal is functional. It's just its own little skill set. And it's very much not discoverable. Like, you can't just figure it out by doing it. Ah, but it's not stopping their movement on the server. Interesting. It's not stopping their movement anywhere. Alright, yeah, buddy, you gotta stop moving. But, wait a minute. Wait. Brain, what are you doing to me? That worked. It's just I don't want them to keep moving after they're dead. I want them to stop and go bzzup, just like the other guys do. Why would they act any differently? Why did that stop working? Because the other guys... Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, OBS, stop it. The eyeballs, they stop moving. No, they don't stop moving either. And when I shoot, I bounce backwards. That's not some sort of recoil. That's not supposed to happen. I'm not supposed to stop when I shoot. But, okay. One step forward. That's a bug when you stop, you shoot. But we're not. I'm not gonna. No, we're just gonna fix the thing where they keep moving because they're not supposed to keep moving. I should probably eventually make dying into its own AI thing. These aren't my movement modes. Oh, I was thinking of state. It doesn't matter which one I tested now. All right, now they probably stop moving again whenever they're... Okay, look! we did it! It took an hour, but we fixed the thing so that they die correctly in multiplayer. To do it, I had to use the functionality. Oh, this is where I had disabled movement before. Boom! We had to multicast this. Now, run on server versus multicast. Multicast, I hear, is a little more expensive, so there's probably a better way to do this, where we say, are you on the server? Yes, do this. If not, do this. I think this should all be server authoritative. They're NPCs. So as long as the combat is happening and replicating correctly, the server is handling all this anyways, and I shouldn't have to check to see if they're ever the authority. Which is good, because I'm not checking that. We did it. That's one thing. We're going to keep going. But I am also going to do this. Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. Yes. We've achieved our goals for the day. We've fixed a bug. Let's celebrate. Now, I say fix, but did we check? Did we fix the damage state thing? First, yay. Okay. It's very important to acknowledge whenever you've taken a step forward in these. Even, let's say you're getting paid a bunch of money for these, you do something, take a moment to acknowledge yourself. You want to remember those little moments of victory, so you don't look back and think, I'm not doing anything. Now you are. You did a thing. Good job. Test this real quick. Hold on. I saw one guy flash red right at the beginning, but that's probably because things were loaded. You just got hit by that. You just got hit by that. Guy with an AoE. Yeah, okay, sometimes they're still stuck in the damage state. So what I got to do is move this note. Here's a pro tip. Pro tip from a professional game developer. Don't put multiple issues in one bug. Just don't do it. Because this, player 2, sees enemies stuck in damage state sometimes and doesn't see death state. Sorry. That bad. That's what we actually fixed. Here's the problem. You run into just what I ran into. You have a bug that's multiple issues. You can't just fix an issue and move forward. You're going to have to fix all the issues in that bug. Split them out. Because then, let's say you fix 2 out of 3 issues on a bug that has 3 issues for some reason, and then you go away over the weekend and you come back and you're like, wait a minute. Because if you're already following the incorrect way of doing things, you might also be like not commenting on the bug as you fix stuff, and you'd be like, what 2 did I fix? I know I fixed 2 of them. What's not fixed? And then you have to spend time going back through it again. And you can't submit that bug until everything inside it is fixed. Much better to split those out. Have those split out into individual bugs for individual issues. And a good QA team, let's say you're a dev, because most QA teams are like, yeah, if as long as you follow this format, you can enter your own bugs. Good QA teams are going to be like, what are you doing? 1 bug, 1 issue. QA is awesome. They get a bad rap. I don't know why. You can have the greatest game, the greatest ideas, and the greatest gameplay art. And if you don't have QA checking for bugs, and you ship that thing, you know what the public's going to say. Game full of bugs. And what's not going to happen? Sales. Why did that start to make me angry? All right. They're working. They die. The damage state thing, that's a bug. Let's look into it real quick. I don't need the old stuff. But I'm not going to, I don't know why I'm hesitant to delete that. All right. We don't need this. What I need to do is run this. You guessed it. On the server. Because what is happening at the end? What we're doing is changing the material. Where are we setting correct material? At the very beginning, because damaged material is acting up. You think? There's something we could try real quick. I know. I know. We're just going to try it. I don't think it matters. In fact, I'm almost 100% positive it's not going to matter. We're just going to try. Okay, so when an enemy is hitting them, that seems to be when it sticks. That's interesting. Get out of here, you're not replicated. It's your problem, Mac. When an enemy damages them, not when the player damages them. The enemy damages. When the but when the enemy damages them, they get stuck in this state. So it doesn't do this. That's only on the client, which means it's a replication problem. So, do we have to do the thing that we just did and set up a multicast event that this calls instead of doing this? I mean, we'll still do this. We'll just call it after a multicast event. I need water now. I got too much sugar. If I start to snore, it's because it's a sugar crash. I'm not done after this stream. Got to keep doing the other thing that I was doing before the stream. I don't know if I'll get it done. And then I got to apply to more jobs. You know how it goes. Maybe you don't. In case you don't know, if you ever lose your job, you should prioritize after a few weeks off. I know it feels bad, unless you like are super desperate for money immediately, like super need, without severance or anything else. Looking for a job, take a few weeks off. Get your brain as good as you can. Family, friends, social contact. Super necessary. Don't just sit there and feel bad. Go out with other people and make them feel bad too. That'll make you feel better. I don't mean make them feel bad. I just mean you need this social contact with your friends and family. Or just your friends. Whatever. Then you do the job hunt. Which right now, ugh, I've never seen it like this before. It's bad out there, guys. It's not good out there. It's bad out there. I won't get into it. But apply to jobs. If you're getting unemployment insurance, they'll tell you how many jobs you have to apply to every week. Don't let that stop you. Just keep applying. No expectations. Find job you can do. Send best resume. Do best cover letter. Then do it again. Then do it again. Then do it again, etc., etc. Get automatically rejected. Yeah, it's going to hurt your soul for a little bit. But then the brain is just going to eventually adapt. That's part of what that take a few weeks off thing is. The brain's going to go, all right, you can't just sit here in panic mode all the time. Got to get it done. Yeah. Anyways. Is this going to work? Lol, I don't know. Can't just make everything multicast. That seems like a bad idea. But you know, maybe it not bad idea. Maybe it good idea. Yeah, turn on. Thank you. Can I get them to shoot each other? Whoa. Yeah. Get hit. Look at that. Come on, everybody, shoot at each other. Ooh, I'm gonna get some errors for some reason. Don't like that. Interesting. I don't see their attack. But in this quick test, it looks like the red stuff, that's all working correctly again. These bullets going at the right speed. Is that the right speed for them? Yeah, maybe. Okay, anyways, that seemed to have worked. We're going to leave it like that for this instant. And then, of course, I'll come back and I'll do the performance testing. And it's going to be like, glorble, glorble, this is bad to do. Then I'll make it, run on server, do the thing. I have to look all that up. But for the scope of today's work, that's probably fine. I'll do more testing too. And I'll come right back to this thing if I see it happen again, after crying sadly. All right, we're whittling this. Are we whittling? It looks like this is more. I kind of did that. I did that. That's why the bullets work now. That's part of this fix, and this fix, and this fix. Still not as much as the old project, but it's enough. Yay! Celebrations. All right, debt, this is one thing. We know this is stuff we have to tackle in the future. This is optional. Keys. I have to redo the key system. It's going to be a bigger gameplay thing. Rifle. Yeah, the rifle's borked. Can't interact with the rifle equip. Switching back and forth. This doesn't do exactly this anymore. It's just the rifle's borked. You can switch back to the pistol now and it works just fine. I'm going to test it real quick. All right, never mind. It doesn't work in the client. That is just the second player. It's why I thought it wasn't working anymore. Stop. Okay. The flashlight. Did I fix the flashlight? Did I fix the flashlight? No. I need to replicate the component for that. Oh, is that going to be an easy win? First person character. Wait. Okay. First person character. The spotlight. Wait. Hold. All right. No, that was not enough. Shining the flashlight in your face, it doesn't matter. I don't see it on the server. Yeah, and I don't see the enemy melee attacks on the server either. All right. I'm going to say 2P. Just so I can maybe someday search for 2P. Fix bugs. Found bugs. Oh, we'll get back to that sweet, sweet gameplay juice at some point. But for now, I'm kind of happy that we're slowly shoring up the core gameplay. Monday, am I going to be able to touch this on the weekend? I don't know. I'd like to. I'd like to fix all of this, like, super quick over the weekend. But next week, likely I'll just be digging into this even more. Stable footing for future stuff. Want to make this work in multiplayer. Want to make all of these things just work. What is the non-multiplayer stuff? Rifle. Can't interact with it. I shoot, you stop. And this. And this. These 5 things here. In fact, let's split these up. It's our multiplayer bugs. And these are the single player bugs. All right, now they're 2 separate categories. Now I know. Let's say an emergency situation arises and I need to make the game for some reason quickly, quicker than the timeline of just all your money's going to run out. Then I could just dump these MP bugs instantly because they all work in single player too. Like those bugs just go away in single player. They don't count. So number 1 thing for reducing scope, speeding up development, ignore multiplayer. Right now it's a very good learning thing, and if it all works, then yeah, I could have a co-op component in this. Fine. At the end, they count as valid bugs until then, but categorizing them lets me control them. In summary, split your bugs out, 1 issue, 1 bug. Multiplayer scripting in Unreal is kind of its own thing. Gotta learn it separately. I'm just gonna save all. These guys are cool. I still like making it. I still want to make this game. Horrible realization whenever I get all the foundational work set up that now I got to make all the content and make it fun. I'm used to that. But also, big job. And if one of these other jobs work out, maybe I could try to be like, I got this little thing I'm working on here. Is it still mine if I work on it on not a work computer, on not work hours? That I may release it on my own without you trying to claim ownership over it? Maybe. Maybe someone would let me do that. It's good. If you're in game dev, people running game dev stuff, I understand there's like legal stuff going on and money stuff and blah 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 all that. But just from a being good to your own developer's standpoint, if they have their own projects they can pursue, let them. I mean, if let's say I get hired to make a first-person shooter, then I'm also working on my own first-person shooter. All right, market conflict of interest there. I get it. I get it. I do. Wait, I sneezed. Yeah, I didn't hit the button in time. I sneezed all over the stream. My apologies. I'm allergic to talking about legal stuff. But if you can find a way, employer, oh dear employers out there, of letting people keep this stuff and work on it and release it, it doesn't impact their work that they're doing for you that you're paying them for, that it doesn't impact it, that they're not using your resources to make it, It's such a great learning experience. Encourage them. Don't discourage them. But don't encourage them so much that it impacts their work. There you go. Make games. Thanks for watching. Hope you had some fun. Don't know if you'll learn anything. Don't know if I learned anything. But it was fun. Bye. Ah!